I am Ben Komanapalli Jr. and I believe in John chapter 3, verse 17. A lot of people that are watching this, especially if you are a Christian or grew up in the church or around church, you are familiar with the verse, John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. And many have heard the gospel message, many have heard the good news about Jesus Christ, and in fact, every person that calls themselves a child of God or a Christian believes in that verse. But once they believe in the verse, once they become a Christian, once they start attending church and start reading their Bibles and start doing all the Christian things that we are quote-unquote supposed to do, what we neglect is the verse that follows John chapter 3, verse 16. What John chapter 3, verse 17 says is, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. The reason I'm talking about John chapter 3, verse 17 is because I believe in a lot of cases, even Christians have this tendency that God is somehow trying to look for everything that is wrong in our lives. Many people think that Jesus is coming into the world to punish people, or that God is coming into the world to judge people of all the mistakes and sins and wrongs that we have committed. And yet the Bible is so very clear that God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. You see, the gospel, the good news, just doesn't stop with John chapter 3, verse 16. It continues into John chapter 3, verse 17. And my prayer is that every single person that is watching this pays attention to not just John chapter 3, verse 16, but John chapter 3, verse 17 as well. Because in that you find the hope that you can find in Jesus Christ. You find the true message of the gospel, that God just did not send Jesus not just to give his life for you and for me, but he also sent him into this world so that you and I will never have to be condemned if we simply believe in the message of Jesus Christ. You see, when Jesus came into the world, he saw everything that was wrong in your life, in my life. He saw everything that was wrong in this world. And yet he was not okay with any of that. In fact, he was against all of that. And so, instead of condemning us, the good news of the gospel, the good news about Jesus Christ is he took upon himself the curse. He took upon himself all the wrongs that were ever committed in this world. And then he gave us his goodness, he gave us his blessing, he gave us his righteousness, which simply means today, by believing in Jesus Christ, you and I have a right standing before God. And I pray that every single one of you that are watching this will know without a shadow of doubt that Jesus did not come to condemn you. Jesus is not looking out to point your mistakes. Jesus came to give you a new life. Jesus came to save you. He is the way, he is the truth, he is the life.